Welcome to Schweitzer Drive, a podcast where we explore what goes on between the generation of electricity and the light switch. Join Dave Whitehead as he interviews the entrepreneurs, innovators, and experts who are inventing the future of electric power.
Hi, I'm Dave Whitehead, and welcome to Schweitzer Drive. If you've ever taken a tour of one of our manufacturing operations, you've likely heard about or maybe even visited one of our product hospitals. SEL products, which protect, monitor, and control electric power systems, operate in extreme environments. If one of our devices gets struck by lightning or is immersed in water during a flood, we get that product back. In fact, we encourage our customers to send us those products back, and we put it into the hospital. I used air quotes right there, with the goal of gaining a clear understanding of what exactly caused the product to fail. And we try to get to root cause within 72 hours. It's our own version of CSI, Product Hospital. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of getting to root cause and how it helps keep the lights on for people around the world. My guest is Gurvinder Singh, who oversees SEL's Product Hospital. Gurvinder started at SEL in 2003 as an assembler in our manufacturing operations in Pullman, Washington. Over the years, he served in a variety of roles, including test development technician, test engineer, engineering supervisor, field service manager, and test engineering manager. Today, he oversees SEL's global product hospital, production test automation, and test support for teams for SEL's factories. He earned a bachelor's degree in electronic science and master's degree of electronic science with an emphasis on VLSI design and fabrication. Hi, Gurvinder, and thanks for talking to me today.
I'm excited to talk about Product Hospital, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Well, first, before we jump into Product Hospital, for everybody who might not know what VLSI is, what is VLSI?
VLSI stands for Very Large Scale Integration. It's a field of electronics, which basically is a collection of equipment, tools, and processes that allow chip designers and manufacturers to integrate millions of transistors and other discrete electronic components on a single chip. And VLSI devices such as microprocessors, memory components, and other application-specific integrated circuits are not only used in Schweitzer products, but also commonly found in other products that we use in our daily lives, such as smartphones, computers, cars, and even some of our household appliances these days. So the nice thing is once you understand the manufacturing processes of some of these semiconductor devices, it definitely helps in troubleshooting and failure root cause analysis when these components fail in one of our products.
I could almost say, we talked about you're running our product hospital. Maybe with your VLSI background, you could also be the chief coroner then for when we have to figure out what killed a particular IC.
Absolutely, would love to.
I think you got a new title. We can put that on one of your desk. In my intro, I hinted at what we do in Product Hospital, but will you take us through what you actually do there?
Absolutely, Dave. So SEL has 7 repair centers with more than 40 employees around the world, and we call these repair centers product hospitals. And in our product hospitals, we are a group of technicians, engineers, and specialists who are trained professionals in electronic products troubleshooting, failure analysis, and repair. And that's our core function. So simply put, if one of our products experiences an issue in the field and the product needs to come back to Schweitzer for repair, it would come back to one of these product hospitals. And then our technicians would troubleshoot the product to really understand the why behind the failure, then repair the product, send the product through full functional testing, and then write a nice letter to our customer explaining why behind the failure and what services were performed on the product to address the issue. And our goal is to complete all of this process within 72 hours. And as you know, Dave, regardless of warranty status, we do not charge our customers for analysis or repair.
Yeah, that's I think a great benefit we provide to our customers. Not a lot of folks do that. Hey, I was thinking about this. You've been here since 2003, and maybe this is a question that lots of folks have. Do you know where Product Hospital, the name for it, came from?
I actually don't, but I do know the history, but I don't know the name, where exactly the name.
Okay, I'll tell you, because this goes way, way, way back, right? I have the advantage of being here for a lot longer than you, but I remember one time we were as a company grew, we were getting more products back. And Ed really wanted to emphasize, what we're doing here. You mentioned that hey, we're not going to charge you for analysis of figuring what's gone. In fact, it's to our benefit to get these products back, because if we find a problem, we can diagnose it and then turn whatever the fix is into the rest of the population or production units that are going out, right? So it really allows us to improve our designs by understanding exactly what's going on in the field with these things. And Ed really wanted to emphasize that this is something special that we're doing, right? It's a hospital. We can repair these things, get them back up, just like you'd go down to see your regular physician kind of thing. So that's kind of the history of Ed has a knack, I think, for naming different parts of our company or things that we do that are unique and we should really highlight. So that's kind of the history of where Product Hospital came from.
But I absolutely love this name because, the way I think of this is, if I have to find the synonym of a hospital, it would be care, right? It's like product care, and it's part of our principles of operations.
I love it too. As you mentioned, SEL has 7 product hospitals with more than 40 highly trained staff that work with customers around the world. That's a pretty big investment. Will you talk us through the history of the product hospital, where SEL's commitment to getting to root cause comes from, and why we put so much effort into it?
So, sure, Dave. So after Dr. Schweitzer founded our company in 1982, and we first shipped our product in 1984, and as the production volume ramped up, initially, it was our electronic test technicians who would do the field repair. But in 1993, as the company grew, in 1993, we formed a dedicated team who would do field repairs, and we called it Field Failure Repair Department. In 2000, when SEL introduced 10-year worldwide product warranty, that year we changed the name of this Field Failure Repair Department to Product Hospital. And at that time, we had 3 technicians and 1 specialist in our team. And since then, we have grown internationally to be closer to our customers and provide support in local time zone and languages. So that's a little bit about the product hospital history. But as far as where our company's commitment for getting to root cause of every problem comes from, that comes from our founder, Dr. Schweitzer's vision for our company culture, values, and also for our SEL product warranty. So in context of SEL product warranty, the way I understand that is there are 2 major aspects of it. One is we wanted to provide exceptional customer service for SEL product warranty. And the way we do that is by offering free and really, really fast repairs. And the second aspect is SEL taking the ownership of learning and understanding our product behaviors and failures and apply those learnings back into product design and factory processes to continuously improve product quality. Because end of the day, our goal is not to do more repairs. Our goal is to create products that never fail once they're installed in the field. And I think our warranty policies, as you said before, definitely makes it easy for our customers to send the product back. And it provides us a focus and direction. So a product hospital is less of we are not a profit center. We are, in fact, a product improvement and service center.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I look at your function. Of course, I make the joke to the R&D guys, right? I want them to design products that never fail in the field, no matter what happens. Even if it gets struck by lightning or is underwater or something like that. So their job is to put you out of business. But we realize Mother Nature is she's pretty impressive, and things are going to happen. Your guys' ability to quickly diagnose problems with the products, get them back into the hands of the customers within 72 hours is certainly phenomenal. And you mentioned Ed founded the company in 82, shipped the very first product in 1984, right? So we're coming up on 40 years of SEL history serving the electric power industry. What is the oldest product that you guys have fixed recently?
Dave, I remember in November of 2020, we received a product from the field that was manufactured in February of 1988, February 16th to be precise. And so that product was in service for about 32 years, and then it came back to Product Hospital, and we repaired the product and put it back in service. So we put it back in service in November of 2020, and now we are in 2020. So it's about 34 years since that product is in service and still is in service.
That is amazing. I just did the math in my head real quick. I was a sophomore in college when that product was originally built. And just thinking about the challenges you guys must have, because that was based on an 8-bit microcontroller. Today, we've got quad core FPGA system on a chips. The span of technology that you have to be experts in is ranging of what we just mentioned, 40 years. That's quite an accomplishment, I think, for being able to ship something back in 72 hours. I can't even remember, what a data sheet looks like for a 6809, right? I'm sure it was 12 pages, and now you got to deal with SOCs and all this other stuff. You guys do you got a huge task ahead of you, right? With being able to repair anything that we've ever built or shipped. That is quite amazing. Hey, another fun thing. What is the most interesting thing you found when you opened up a relay? I've heard stories of critters, whether they're snakes, spiders, other things. What's the most interesting thing you found?
The really strange thing we have recently noticed is ladybugs like to infest SEL2431, which is a voltage regulator control product. And ants, whether it's fire ants or other ants, like building colonies inside our recloser control cabinet products. So not sure exactly why, but that's something, a strange thing we have recently experienced.
Well, and so you also have a hazardous job too, because ladybugs may be cute, but they can bite you. They can be mean. Let's move on a little bit. We talk a lot about getting to root cause at SEL, but this might be a new term for some of our listeners. Will you define what getting to root cause means and how we know when we've actually got to root cause?
Sure, Dave. So getting to root cause means a lot more than simply replacing a component or swapping a board and have the problem go away. In order to get to a root cause, one really has to understand what caused the failure and why behind it. And sometimes you have to ask that why multiple times before you get to the root cause. And then you actually have to prove it by turning the problem off and then turning it back on. One has to be really careful too how we define the problem, because sometimes same symptom can be created in multiple different ways. So it's extremely important for our technicians to understand the product application. And when we try to recreate customer experienced issues and try to find the root cause of it. And as far as how we know we have addressed the root cause, probably the best way to describe that, in my perspective, could be once you have addressed the root cause, it allows you to turn a defect off permanently.
Yeah.
Not only for that one product or one customer, but for all products and all customers going forward. And that's kind of the beauty of it. So you don't have to solve the same problem again.
I like the phrase "turn it on, turn it off." I remember Ron Schwartz, who was our first VP of quality, really introduced that simplistic definition of getting to root cause: turning on, turning off. And I like your approach too. So we've identified I can turn it on, turn it off. Okay, there was a transistor that perhaps was over voltaged or something like that. But digging a little bit deeper about, okay, what were the causes of it? Do we need to modify the design? Do we need to derate it? Do we need to do other things? And I think you're absolutely right. That's really where you get your big quality gains, right? Is understanding the design, the application of the design, how it gets installed in a substation, or as you point out, voltage regulator controls that are on the bottom of a power pole somewhere in the middle of nowhere. All of those things really go to drive much higher quality in our products. It's always interesting to hear what you're working on in the product hospital. You and the team, along with others from R&D, have solved some pretty challenging problems. Is there a particularly tough case that stands out in your mind, and why was it so challenging?
Sure, Dave. So recently I was in communication with our quality team regarding this case where a product hospital had received two products from two different product lines that had similar SDRAM memory component. So after product hospital troubleshooting and diagnosis, we learned that both of these products had failed in a similar manner and experienced diagnostic restart because of CPU, which is central processing unit, and memory communication errors. But despite extensive bench testing, we simply could not repeat this failure that customer had experienced. So at this point, we involved our R&D team, which we have the luxury to have the access to our R&D teams, and our R&D team came in and they wrote this custom test firmware to test a narrow range of memory locations, suspected memory locations, and while thermal cycling the unit through minus 40 degrees Celsius to plus 85 degrees Celsius and monitoring the product behavior. And sure enough, we were able to recreate that memory failure very, very consistently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And once we were able to recreate it, we knew that there is something wrong with the memory components, but we didn't know exactly why the memory component was failing. So at this point, we involved our quality team and handed off all that information and the learning we have had so far. And now our quality team started working with the memory component supplier, and sure enough, our supplier was able to recreate the failure on their site, at their site. Basically, what our supplier found was that during one of their fabrication processes, there was this particle contamination that got introduced into one of the inner layers of the chip, of the memory component. And that happened. And over time, because of voltage and temperature stress, it introduced high impedance in that layer and caused that memory bank to fail. And our supplier was able to get to the root of the problem and correct that issue. And the reason I really like this example, Dave, is, sometimes we have to be really creative to even repeat some of these very, very complex issues. And in this case, R&D coming to rescue and writing this custom test firmware. And in some cases, we have to go outside of our company to get to the root of the problem. In this case, our quality team working with our supplier to permanently correct that issue.
Well, that's sort of a testament to your commitment to quality and the customers. I bet if you had just returned a notification to the customer and said, hey, it was a bad piece of memory, they would have said, okay. We could have said, oh, that's fine, it was a bad piece of memory. But really understanding what caused it, I think, is going that extra mile. And then we can figure out ways to mitigate it, get new parts or whatever it might be. That is really impressive. It's not easy, right? Troubleshooting some of these problems are really, really difficult. They just don't happen, in a couple hours. So,
and also this partnership that happens within the company and oftentimes outside of the company, is those relationships are extremely, extremely valuable to solving some of these tough problems as well.
Yeah, and some of these problems, as you talked about, are really difficult. You utilize some pretty sophisticated tools and methods for examining damaged or non-functioning devices. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what those tools are and how you use them.
So when we start troubleshooting a non-functioning product, we always start with a simple visual inspection, and then followed by more thorough inspection using optical inspection tools such as high magnification microscopes. And that sometimes give us a clue where to start or what might have caused the issue. And once we have done that, then we move on to some basic troubleshooting tools such as AC and DC power supplies, and some instrument to take measurements and data acquisition, such as a digital multimeter or digital oscilloscope, to do signal tracing and voltage rails measurements, and also measuring the critical signals timing. When we go to hospital or a clinic, they often take your temperature and ask you a bunch of questions to find out what might have been happening. So our products are smart products. Most of our products almost have this health monitor built into them, and it records any of the issues happening it's constantly monitoring the product health, and we often are able to access those self-test records and other diagnostic reports, and those are extremely valuable and very helpful tool during troubleshooting. When I was a technician, that's where I always started. If I could talk to a product, the self-test, the vector report, the history report, the event reports. And that gives you so much valuable information as a technician when you're trying to solve that problem, and gives you a really good start as well. So in addition to that, we use some pretty sophisticated tools such as X-rays to detect inner layer defects in, let's say, in printed circuit boards, or even to find soldering defects under some of the complex ICs, such as ball grid arrays. And we also have thermal chambers that we use to simulate a real-world environment where our products might be installed inside the lab. And we can control humidity in these chambers. We can talk to our products and run tests while testing the product at elevated temperatures.
That is a lot of work, a lot of equipment, and really it sounds like it helps you get to root cause in a timely manner. Gurvinder, just talking to you, you are so proud of everything that you guys are able to accomplish, the way you're able to help customers understand what may have happened out in the field to those particular devices. What are some of your fun or prouder moments in working in Product Hospital?
Thanks for asking that question, Dave. So, when I look at our Product Hospital team and I look at our technicians, our fun and proudest moments are when we can go above and beyond for one of our customers. And it's not uncommon for us to do multiple repairs in a week that we do just in a couple of hours. And because this is something our customers needed very, very urgently. They depend on some of these extremely valuable, they depend on our products and technology. And we love providing that. We love providing that very personalized support to our customers. We do a lot of things in Product Hospital every day. But if you really look at it, it's a group of people here at Schweitzer helping another group of people somewhere in the world. And if you really take it one step further, it's a human being here at SEL helping another human being somewhere in the world. And that other human being somewhere in the world could be a patient in a hospital, a professor in a classroom, or a scientist in a research laboratory inventing a future product or a vaccine for the future, or even a student in a remote village in the night preparing for an exam tomorrow morning. And it's just that understanding, that sense of purpose and understanding of the critical nature of the infrastructure that we support for societies around the world.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you mentioned that. Right, sometimes we get a little bit carried away with our day-to-day job. It's just the right amplifier. Should I tweak the design or something like that? And perhaps we forget that the bigger picture, as you pointed out. Somebody being able to study for an exam for the first time because they have electricity coming into their house, or the vaccine that gets created, or any number of things that electricity allows people to improve their lives or improve the lives around them. It's an honor to be in this industry, and to your point, making sure that our customers' products are always there, installed and running. And if there is a problem with them, how do we get them back to them as quickly as possible? Your mission for your team is critically important to keeping the lights on all over the world. With that, thank you very much. This is a great. I'm sure I'm going to have you back some other time. I don't know if Product Hospital or CSI or something. Maybe there's another name. You guys do so many different things, from getting the products up and running to do that investigation. It's a great service you provide, not only SEL but our customers too. So thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Thank you for stopping by Schweitzer Drive. Join us again as we learn about, explore, and celebrate electric power. For more information about the show, please visit selinc.com/Schweitzer Drive.